Good morning, Raptor Freak Alexios here. Monday morning early. Just want to check in with you guys real quick about a couple things. First of all, I want to talk about how excited I am that Toronto Raptors drafted their first ever player from Toronto onto the team. That was history. Dalano Banton with the 45th pick or something like that in the draft this year. Uh, Banton's from Rexdale, and he's a hometown guy from Toronto. That's a big deal. But up here in Canada, people may not know, we have a thing called the CRTC, which is in charge of ensuring that media has a certain amount of Canadian content. Like on radio, 35% of the songs played have to be made by Canadian artists. And then on TV, half the shows have to be originally made in Canada. It's just part of keeping Canadian culture and media Canadian, and not just being inundated with American media and taken over that way. So it's an important thing. But the Raptors have a history of having Canadian players on the team, whether it's Jamal McGlure or Corey Joseph or Anthony Bennett even. But we've never had this many players. We've been building. We would have one player after a while. We had no players that were Canadian. Then we had one player, like there'd be one guy on the team that's Canadian. And then more recently, we had two guys that were Canadian on the team, Birch and Boucher, both from Montreal. And honestly, they play great together. I love seeing them together. They complement each other very well. And now, because we've drafted Banton, we got Banton, Birch, and Boucher, the three Bs, the three Canadian killer bees. And that's great. That's the highest percentage of Canadian content on the Toronto Raptors ever. And especially with having one of the guys being from Toronto, that's a big deal. And, it makes us more Canadian. And there's going to be more of this. This trend is just going to continue to happen. I fully expect the Raptors to have 4 Canadian players at some point, or 5, because the league is getting more and more Canadian players. The Vince effect has been seen. That Vince Carter came to Toronto and he electrified the city with his dunks and everything, and all the little kids wanted to play basketball. And now we're seeing these little kids growing up and playing in the NBA, and that's fantastic. And the NBA championship that the Raptors won in 2019 will have that same kind of echoing effect out, where there'll be more and more great Canadian basketball players that will play at that high level and stuff. It's just fantastic. More Canadians in the league, the better. And it's also going to really help Team Canada in the Olympic world, because hopefully these guys will get committed to playing for Team Canada, because that's really what the difference is in Olympic basketball, international basketball, is that the European teams all stick together and play together. Like Jonas Valanciunas was very dedicated to Team Lithuania, even into his 30s. Like from being a teenager, he's with those same guys, Sabonis and all those other guys. And they become like a real family, and they really become a unit that knows each other over time. The same thing with the Gasols and Jose Calderon in Spain. These European teams know how to do the Olympic programs better than the North American, U.S. and Canada. I just wish Canadian players would be committed like that to being on the team as a cohort and sticking together for a long period of time, so that they really build that long-time synergy that teams like Spain get. So that's really the key to that whole being successful in that, other than being like over inundating a team with talent like the U.S. does, because that's pretty much what they do. Because it'd be really hard for the U.S. to have a program like this, because players change in their careers pretty quickly, and guys get kind of into a diva space where they don't want to be involved at a certain point. So even if you get the best young guys, they may grow out of it and say they don't want to play on Olympics anymore. So you can't have that continuity that the European teams do. So, but this is great for Canada. 3 players on the Raptors that are Canadian born or from Canada, Canadian citizens. And the CRTC is pleased. All right. Well, it's just a real quick one today. I just have one more note for everybody real quick. And it's a big one, y'all. Pascal Siakam is not going to be out for long. I'm telling you, I don't think all right, I'm hearing that they never originally planned for him to be out longer than November anyway. And from the footage I'm seeing in the last couple of days of him at OVO and the way he's moving and the way he's working out, from my educated eye, he doesn't look that hurt. And he looks like he's going to be ready to play much earlier in the season than we thought. Like, I think we were saying he was going to miss maybe a month or two, but I honestly think he's only going to miss a handful of games. Like, he may miss like 3 or 4 games right at the beginning of the season, but he's back like that quick because he looks healed. And it's probably just the timelines of the doctors saying, well, this is how long until you can do this again or this again and stuff like that. So he's going to be back a lot sooner than later. And like I said, man, he's going to come back with a vengeance this year. And he's going to be out to prove that he is the guy because he wants to be the guy and that he can do it because he didn't like that failure last year. He did not like that. And he's going to do everything he can this year to succeed. Pascal at the basket. I mean, dropping the ball in and scoring like crazy and just being unstoppable in the NBA because he is unstoppable. So that's what I noticed. And I'm also hearing that they don't expect Pascal to be out that long. Like, he's going to be back before American Thanksgiving. I'm going to guess right now. He's going to be back before American Thanksgiving, and we're not going to see him out that long. So, all right. Go Canada, go Toronto, go Raptors, go Pascal. So happy to have the 3 Canadian killer bees on the team. Banton, Birch, and Boucher. That Canadian flavor. All right, let's go get it. Have a great Monday, y'all. And be good to each other. And, it's going to be a fun season. We got 1 week. Next Monday, it's Philadelphia. First game of the preseason. It's going to be really, really exciting.